Okay, so let's dive into a classic fable. It's a story about a legendary ship, but really, it's about a question of identity that has kept people arguing for, well, for centuries. Our story kicks off where all good sea tales do, in a quiet harbor just as the sun is coming up.
Now, you have to understand, this isn't just some boat. The Irenaeus is basically a legend made of wood and rope. It's a living piece of the town's history. For everyone who lives there, it's just always been there. But baked into that long story is a question that just won't go away.
And there it is. That's the heart of the whole puzzle we're looking at. If you take something and you change it piece by piece, is there a moment where it stops being the original thing? Or does it ever?
To really feel the weight of this question, you first have to get what the Irenaeus meant to these people. It was so much more than just a ship. See, the ship's identity isn't just about its planks and its mast. It's built from its deeds, from promises it kept. This was the ship that saved them during a famine. It brought soldiers home from a war. It was the one thing you could count on to always come back, bringing everyone with it. Its identity is all tied up in its purpose, what it did for the community.
So this is where our main character, Maris, comes in. Now, she's not a philosopher. She's not thinking about these deep questions. She's a practical person with a very simple job. Just keep the ship from sinking. Her whole focus is on the physical boat, or at least that's what she thinks at the start.
And here we go. The very first repair. Just one single plank. It seems like nothing, right? But this tiny moment, it's the beginning of everything. An old sailor sees it happen and just quietly says, "For now." He plants that little seed of doubt. The ship is still the ship, but maybe only for now.
And so it begins. That practical need to keep her afloat starts to bump up against the whole idea of what the Irenaeus even is. And it doesn't happen overnight. Oh no, it's this slow, creeping change that you almost wouldn't notice.
First, one plank becomes 10. And before you know it, 10 planks have become 100.
And it just keeps going. The mast, the rudder, the ribs of the ship, until eventually there is literally nothing left of the original vessel.
But Maris, our practical caretaker, does this really curious thing. Every single old piece she replaces, she saves it. She doesn't really know why. It's just a gut feeling, an intuition, that these original parts have some kind of meaning, some truth she can't quite put her finger on yet. And this decision to save the old parts, it's absolutely crucial.
So, that quiet little question that started with the old sailor, well, it's about to become a very loud, very public argument. This is the moment the whole town has to face the problem head-on.
And you can really see the two sides clashing here. On one side, you have the philosopher's cold, hard logic. If none of the parts are the same, the thing isn't the same. It's just a copy. But on the other side, you have the town's actual lived experience. For them, the ship's identity isn't in the wood. It's in the memories. It's the ship that brought their husbands and sons home. So who's right?
Maris just can't let it go. Her gut feeling about those old parts, combined with this huge public debate, it turns into an obsession. And she decides she's going to take this abstract, philosophical question and make it completely undeniably real. So she starts this massive project. She takes all those old weathered pieces she saved and she starts to put them back together. Plank by plank, beam by beam. She is literally rebuilding the past. And then, the big reveal. Suddenly, there are two ships in the harbor. One is the ship everyone knows, gleaming, strong, ready to sail. The other is like a ghost, built from all the original parts. It's dark, creaky, and just heavy with the weight of its own history.
The question is no longer a what if. You can see both of them, you can touch them. So which one is the real Irenaeus? The one made of the original stuff, or the one that's kept doing the job all along? The philosopher comes back, and sticking to his logic, he points right at the reconstructed ship. That one, he says. It's made of the original material, so it has to be the original. But then, nature provides its own brutal test. A massive storm rips through the harbor, and that ship of memories, the one made of ancient wood, it just breaks apart. It can't handle it. But the other ship, the maintained one, it holds steady, just like it always had.
You see, the storm didn't just destroy a ship. It answered the question. It revealed a much deeper truth about what identity really is, a kind of wisdom you can only earn through a trial like that.
And here's the big takeaway. The story seems to be telling us that identity isn't some static thing locked into the original materials. True identity is about continuity. It's about the memory it holds for people. It's about the promise it keeps on keeping. It's defined by what it continues to do, not what it's made of.
And that brings us to this beautiful, kind of mind-bending conclusion. The Irenaeus is unchanged because its purpose and its place in the world are the same, and yet it's entirely different because its physical parts have all been replaced. It's both things at the same time, and that's the whole point.
Which, of course, leaves us with one final thought, turning this whole story right back on ourselves. They say that over about 7 years, pretty much every cell in your body gets replaced. You are not, physically, the same person you were a decade ago. So what makes you, you?